Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I am your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I am your Cobra intern that fast-tracked back here from Operation Jetlag to sell you, yes, you, a HISS tank, codename Legion Cub.
Okay, so anybody who's watching, bear with us. We're ironing out some kinks here. I've never done this way before, so we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna, let's see here. I'm trying to let everybody know we're live, pal. We're gonna talk about the HISS tank tonight. That is. This whole campaign has been unbelievable. Noel, do you want to give us kind of a rundown of what this HasLab has been thus far?
Unexpected. I mean, not the unexpected in the sense that we kind of knew that the HISS tank was about 60% the most likely thing we were getting. But it going live and then meeting its goal of 8,000 within, what was it, 7 or 8 hours from the time it went live?
8 hours and 41 minutes.
So the fastest Kickstarter to ever fund, or not Kickstarter, but HasLab to ever fund. And then meeting all of its perks. Its early bird was supposed to have been met within like 10 days, and it got met within the 24-hour period. Then we wound up getting all of the additional levels, and coming off the Sky Striker a few months back, where they really had to throw out some incentives at the very end to get that thing just over the minimum. Seeing this one come out of nowhere and blow everything else before it away. And now, as I go back and look at it, because I may or may not have just added one number to the tally.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
That's the way to build anticipation.
Let's see. We are currently. I lost my page. See, this is what I get. I'm totally prepared right now.
Well, we're all there are a lot of things that we're kind of trying to figure out at the moment. Right now, I'm just trying to share the link on all of our social media. So more people can get to this.
We're at 25,787 backers. So, more than triple the number they were going for.
And that's absolutely incredible. And it shows, G.I. Joe fans, I think, have been under observed. I don't want to say underappreciated. That's not the right word. Under observed for a very long time. And I think the Classified series, Emily and Lenny have both said it over and over again as we've been watching these live streams, that they just didn't anticipate the demand for Classified series. And once again, I think we've shown up and showed that we love G.I. Joe, we want G.I. Joe product, and that this HISS tank is something that's very, very special. Not even really because it's a HISS tank, but because this is the first major big vehicle for the Classified series and the first Classified HasLab. And I think just that excitement in the Joe community has been what's propelled this to such heights. You guys continue the chatter, please. I'm still trying to share the stupid link here. I think I've had success. There we go. Okay, so you everybody watching now understands that we want to get as many eyes on this as possible. So I'm throwing this out on social media. Please, you guys watching, share this, let people know. I know there are a lot of different Joe content providers who are doing exactly what we're doing right now. I think Dave Wheeler started like 2 hours ago or something doing a live stream, but I think he does a Monday night show all the time anyway. So we're on it. We're getting there. And next time we do this, we will have this experience under our belts. And also, we won't have the weird time crunch of like, oh, we're in the last hour of really one of the most historic G.I. Joe events in history.
Yep.
Kristian, what has this been for you as somebody who's been a little more casual, at least until recently, about the classified series?
So when they announced they were going to do a vehicle, my gut was it was going to be a HISS tank. But then that also led me to go, oh, I don't want it to be a HISS tank because that's the easy answer. I want something a bit more off the wall. And then when they revealed it, it was, oh, okay, this is a great update to the HISS tank. I wanted to back it, but I also was going to hold off, sort of like I did with the Sky Striker. I just wanted to see where it how it did.
Right. Well, I think part of the reason, because one of the things when I'm backing a crowdfunding project, typically if something sparks my interest, I'm like, I'm in. I'm all in. Give it to me. I'm doing this from day one. Let's go. That's how I was with Call Sign Longbow. That's how I was with the Art of G.I. Joe, the 3D Joes, Carson's project. Like I just get into stuff and I'm on it. And that's my perspective is like, gosh, if you're interested in this, do it. But I also understand like, well, I'd like to see a little momentum. I don't want to, because I have, and anybody who knows me knows this about me. I get really excited about things and it doesn't always work out for me. So I understand having a little reservation of like, you know what, I'd like to see this get a little momentum before I get invested in it. And is that kind of where you were at?
Sort of. It's also the, if we get down to the last day, am I going to be that number that pushes this over the edge, that gets it funded? But also, this is going to be one of, I was trying to think on the flight back today. My legacy at I think is and my Naboo Amidala starship are probably the two biggest pieces I have in my display. And since I downsized my house, I kept thinking, gosh, this HISS tank is going to be massive. Where am I going to put it? What's going to have to lose a spot in the shelf? And will that be worth it? And, some thrilled for people that love the unlocks. There's some unlocks I really love. There's some unlocks that I feel very meh about. But when they got to that Cobra Commander, that was the don't break the ice moment.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, gotta buy.
I was the same place. I was like, all right, well, the Cobra Commander was what finally got me to go ahead and go in on it. And I had a pretty good idea that I was going to ahead of time. Just a couple of the unlocks. Like I said, I'm not that crazy about any of the non-figure unlocks that they've revealed. I can take them or leave them because I think it looks really good just as the base level tank. But yeah, getting that Cobra Commander getting thrown in, especially considering that all this time and we still don't have a proper Cobra Commander in classified, as we've said before, that was definitely the icing on the cake.
So yeah, and you mentioned that Cobra Commander today. Oh wait, I've got everything shared on the social medias. The link is out there. Anybody who's going to get in here has the opportunity to get in here, fight through those algorithms and join us. And we've got some chat on here. Nostalgia Addiction, Yo Joe, but also Cobra. Captain Speedy, woot indeed. Woot, yeet, YOLO, whatever. We're very excited about all of this. And then Nostalgia Addiction jumping in again. I want a classified mud fighter. Okay, let's do it. I'll back it. Look, and that's part of the magic, I think, of the classified series for me. There's been a lot of conversation about like, oh, what characters do you want to see who needs to be in the line. You know, we were all very excited to see Shipwreck eventually. We didn't know when it was going to happen. Now we know he is happening. We've seen the render. He looks fantastic. But honestly, you guys, and I'm interested to hear kind of how you felt about this. For me, it wasn't about specific characters. It was about, oh, I just want to see what classified is going to mean for this character. Like, I want them, I just want to see what the next thing is. It's less about, oh, I need them to make Crystal Ball. And don't get me wrong, I do need them to make Crystal Ball, but it's about seeing like what Lenny and the crew come up with and how they're going to interpret it into classified.
I'll second that Mud Fighter if it means we get a classified dogfight, because otherwise I'm gonna kit bash an Ace Duck figure into a classified dogfight at some point.
Well, there are plenty of Ace Duck figures on the horizon. So, well, I think the NECA one I think is already out now. It is already out now, and then the Super 7 one should be right around the corner.
We get a classified Swamp Masher. That's the question.
Yes.
Dude, that's and that's when I first saw Mud Fighter. Yes, Crystal Ball. When I first saw Mud Fighter, that's what popped into my head. And I was like, oh no, that's the Mud Fighter has the big crazy fan on the back. Yeah, Swamp Masher, Swamp Smasher. This is after my time. I'm always I try to be transparent about where my knowledge is, and my knowledge is like 82 to 87, a little bit of 88. But once you get past that, I have to look things up.
I have to remind myself that there's actually a lot of really good toys, especially figures, beyond those years that I collected as a kid.
If you can get past the wacky colors that they went with, because the Swamp Smasher was one of those.
Well, it's purple and green. I mean,
I know, but like I saw it on eBay, really great price, and I thought, why is that a Joe vehicle? That would be perfect for Dreadnoks. So I got it to customize it as a Dreadnoks vehicle, because hello, Swamp. And once I had it in my hands, it was playing around with it. I was like, this vehicle is amazing. How does it? I never hear, fandom, like none of my friends ever talked about it.
And it's never expensive.
No,
not yet. So anyway,
it's sort of like those hidden gems that would be, to see those pop up and classify, because they're a little smaller. They're gonna, something like that would be able to be on the retail shelf, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that would be reasonable, especially with, as the team has assured us. Oh, interesting. Swamp Masher would make a good Transformer mashup.
It would be a Constructicon. It would have to be because of the color scheme.
The colors are like 100% Constructicon colors.
Yeah.
So do you just make it Devastator, or do you? What was there? I'm trying to think back to the cartoon. Wasn't there kind of a lead Constructicon?
Well, Scrapper was the lead on the cartoon.
So what do you think? Would you just
I don't think he really fits the mold of any of the specific Constructicons because he's not a construction vehicle, but you could do something. You could call him Bone Crusher. You could call him
you're
something
right,
like that. Just to get a cool name on him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to merge with 5 others, because that might get a little bit ambitious.
No, here's what I want. I want 6 Swamp Mashers that transform into different robots and combine into one big giant robot. People would totally go for that.
Yeah, I would imagine that would blow away this HasLab instantly.
Yeah, way more popular than a HISS tank for sure. So we've got a little bit of news because unexpectedly, I didn't do our intro. I said I was going to do our intro, but we're excited. We're live, pal. So you can follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at GI Joe Audible. If you ever have any info, if we missed something or something you'd like to hear, or something you want us to review, send us a message at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram. That's the best way to get in touch with us to give us feedback about the show. And you can get Audible Interlude t-shirts on the Needless Things TeePublic store which you absolutely cannot find through any Google search. You can't go to TeePublic and search for Needless Things or Audible Interlude. The algorithms just beat us down. So I'll post links on the Instagram account or on Twitter from time to time. Direct links are like the only way to find our little tiny store hidden away in the bottom corner of TeePublic. But we have regular Audible Interlude logo shirts, and then we just put up a AI pod shirt that we've already sold far more than I expected to without a big push on them. So Dragoncon is coming up, and if we see you in an Audible Interlude shirt at Dragoncon, you will absolutely receive some free swag. So just check that out. Like I said, the links will be available. But we've got news from Emily and Lenny. They did like not really promoted at all. It just kind of happened today, an Instagram live video. Schweck, did they add the Rancor unlock tier yet? Yes, they now
unlock number 5. We're getting an ULA with our
if we hit 30,000, they're gonna throw in a Rancor.
They put a little bit of fur on his head and they called it a fatal fluffy so that you would go all in on it.
It's fatal fluffy color. It's a fatal fluffy colorway Rancor.
Right.
It would be great. Kevin
Oh my
Riddle, with the
God.
success of the HISS, I hope it promotes more classified vehicles and playset pieces for diorama builds. Well, and that's a really good point, Kevin, because as we've seen with some of Hasbro's products recently, the Jabba's throne room is the one that really jumps out at me, the vintage collection throne room. And with the focus that we've seen on some of the panels that Hasbro has done, they are definitely aware of toy photography and what a large percentage of their customer base is into that. So it wouldn't surprise me at all that dioramas are on the table, that I think blast effects are something that we're going to see a lot more of, because one, they know that that's very appealing for the photographers, but also it's a great upsell, because I think that's why that Viper 3-pack had the price point that it had, is because they threw in those blast effects and they know that's something very desirable for the customers. And Hasbro, I'm sure, is also aware that their aftermarket third-party blast effects available on Etsy or whatever, and they want a piece of that pie.
And they could, and so many just little things that they could throw in from some of the mini play sets from back in the 80s, things like the ammunition depot sign and things like that. Like you would pay an extra $10 for a classified figure to have that, that in there, I'm sure.
Oh, well, it's here. Think about this. What if they just do the ammo dump, or the what is the missile range set? What is the gray
the Cobra
one?
firing range,
the firing range.
Defense.
Like, do that with a figure, and they can probably charge $40 for that.
Yeah,
easy,
if not more.
Schweck's got another good one here. They can throw a Mickey Mouse logo on the chest of the Rancor.
That's a dual-sided joke right there.
Right.
Yeah,
Disney. It's the whole Disney thing. They could do it like a legit Mickey Mouse on it. Okay, so Emily and Lenny went on Instagram earlier today. I watched the video, and first of all, they had Emily is a little tiny person. She's holding the model of the HISS that they've been using for the photography and to promote and everything else, and it's huge, you guys. It is like that. It's massive for what it is. And I gotta say, we haven't talked about them because we haven't recorded since they put up the new pictures, but the fully painted pictures of the model are awesome. Have you guys seen these yet?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With the interior painted with the light gray, where you can really see everything in there.
You can see where the turret, where they, you have the turret dangling down into the compartment in there. Yeah.
This thing looks fantastic. So Emily's standing there holding this huge thing, and I'm wondering, like, why did they give this little tiny woman the giant model to have to manipulate while Lenny's just standing there with his big buff self like, yes, hold that hiss, little woman, while I talk. So the HISS is freaking huge. We mentioned earlier that this thing funded in 8 hours and 41 minutes. It broke all of the HasLab records. Nothing has ever funded that quickly before. Schweck has popped. I thought the interior lights were a waste until those pics. Yeah, well, and that's because the whole interior was black. So it was kind of like, it just looks kind of like a goth rave in there. It's not that interesting. But then once they lightened up that interior, now you can really see what's going on in there. It's really fantastic. And the biggest takeaway for me from this is that they said, yes, you will have it by the end of 2023. Like they said, 15 months ish. But it seemed to me that they made a point of saying you will have it by the end of next year. So I think they're really on target for that. And people seeing the model may be thinking, well, wait, if it's already tooled up, you guys have one. Why is it going to take so long? That model is literally a model. It's not a production piece at all. It was created using the renders, but not using like the tooling that they're going to have to use to make the actual HISS. So like artisans created that thing like as a one-off. It's not the finished product in any way, shape, or form. So it's not like they have a production HISS that they're showing us, and now they're just going to kick back for 15 months and be like, well, let's just chill for a while we produce all these HISSes. That's not what it is at all. This model was a very special project that they did in a different way because of the nature of the HasLab. Did you guys see the new Cobra Commander render?
Yeah.
What did you think of this?
No, you go first.
Well, he's got the gun. You can mount it on his back. So it's Coco. It's who we want.
Well, what's funny to me about it is at Joe Fest, I bought a little set of accessories from Mark II Designs. Go check out Mark II Designs on Etsy. That is a backpack and the hairdryer gun, and it plugs into the existing classified series Cobra Commander. And it looks exactly like what Hasbro is doing with this Cobra Commander, which is great. I mean, well, actually, this one almost looks like the little backpack piece is more of a holster. The Mark II Designs version is like the old figure where the gun plugs into the little back piece. Which, by the way, fits under his, this classified Cobra Commander has the little like cape and the thing going behind it, but you can fit that backpack piece under that. You don't have to remove it. But the gun does plug in like it does on the original figure. But it looks like the Hasbro version is more holstery. It looks like the gun slides into the top. Quick update since it's 11:24 and I'm going to refresh here and see where we're at. 26,027 backers, you guys. That's wild because a few days ago, we love HissTank.com. We get a lot of we sort of generate ideas from there. I love going on there and just sort of seeing what people think in general about G.I. Joe. And it had been said at one point that 28,000 was like really optimistic. I think it's entirely possible in the next half hour, we're going to hit 28,000.
Yeah, got 34 minutes and less than 2,000 to go.
All right, we got a couple more. Nerdy Laser, what's up, Rich? Thank you for showing up, man.
There's a lot of FOMO going on right now. I have a feeling in the G.I. Joe community.
Well, and that's what Rich is saying. I wish I could get the HISS, but I'm having to pass. Wish it was a Triple T, my favorite vehicle in G.I. Joe. Dude, I think a Triple T is probably very much on the table. I gotta think for whatever period of time they've got Sergeant Slaughter signed, they're gonna want to get a Triple T out there and make that money.
They are going to get every dime that they are paying out of Sergeant Slaughter back out of them.
Nostalgia Addiction, best Christmas ever. You're not kidding. Christmas 2023. And this goes back to my good friend Mr. Bo Brown, who did a lot of Masters of the Universe shows with me back on the Needless Things podcast, back when the Masters of the Universe Classics Castle Grayskull came out. He actually saved it and put it under his Christmas tree because he wanted that experience.
Oh, that's cool.
Right, of Christmas morning, having that big toy to open up. And this HISS is going to be very similar to where, me, I've got the Needless Things YouTube channel, so I'm going to have to open it up and review it ASAP. But like, how awesome to potentially have a HISS tank, a massive HISS tank. Because think about, like, it's, this thing's huge, but the box it's going to come in, this isn't going to be, I don't think, like a cheapo Walmart retail box. I believe this thing is probably going to get the deluxe packaging treatment. Think about how that 00 Snake Eyes was packaged in that big, fancy, embossed box with the gloss on it. You open it up and it has the artwork inside. Like, we haven't even really talked about what the packaging might be for this HISS tank. I think we're going to see some of the most impressive, like, deluxe packaging we've ever seen. And it's not only going to be the tank, but you've got the 3 figures and the retro carded Cobra Commander. It's, what is it? The driver, the tactician, and the gunner, right?
Yep.
And then also the retro carded Cobra Commander. So,
we don't even know what that tactician's going to look like yet, because we haven't voted on the color
poll
scheme.
Will go up sometime after half an hour from now, and we'll get to choose what this tactician is going to look like. But yeah, just think about all of that in one massive package sitting under the Christmas tree. That's or whatever your by the menorah, whatever your beliefs, whatever you celebrate. Holiday.
I'm just thinking, imagining having the patience to wait to open that thing. And for any of you out there who do that, you are a better human being than I.
No, there's even if I didn't look, I said because I've got the YouTube channel, that's my excuse. There's no way I could wait. Like, because even when Bo, because we both have the Castle Grayskull, and I was like, you're gonna, because I feel like it delivered in November-ish. I was like, you're gonna wait? He said, yeah, I want that experience. And Bo is a very he cherishes life experiences. He wants everything to be a rich, beautiful life's rich pageant, as it were. And he really does, like, put a lot of thought into making everything mean something. And I appreciate that about him. But me, I'm the rip it open guy. There's no, like, I bet when Bo gets presents, well, no, actually, I know for a fact when Bo gets presents, he untapes the one side, he untapes the other side, he untapes the bottom, he savors.
Wow.
Like a delicious meal. He savors every moment of that, that presentation. Whereas me, I'm the tear the gift wrap off, get in there.
I'm like, open. You don't have to wrap it. Just leave it in the bag and hand it to me.
Yes.
I'm the in-between where, I don't want to look like I'm not appreciative, but I also don't want to look like I'm too eager.
You want to have some decorum.
Yes. So I try to have decorum when I'm in front of people. If I'm by myself, then it's just all going out the window.
And Schweck has known Bo for his entire life. He said he's done that since we were kids. And then Nostalgia Addiction, I'm going to open it ASAP. Yes, get that thing open and get it on your shelf. Well, don't even get it on your shelf. Open it up, put all the stuff on it, take it outside, take some pictures, put the figures in it, put the other figures in it, put a Cobra Commander in the back. There's going to be so much to do with this thing. It's very exciting.
Maybe by that point we'll have a classified Chuckles you can throw a rocket at it with.
That was my semi-serious pick for like the last minute enticement was a Chuckles with Havoc rocket.
You got 29 minutes, Hasbro. Make it happen.
Right. Yeah, let's get on this. Emily and Lenny, I know they're out there watching this because they love Audible Interlude. Make it happen. All right, let's see where we're at. Let me do a little refresh here and see what we've got going on, because we are technically supposed to be counting down 26,123 backers. It's phenomenal.
28 minutes to go.
I'm so tempted to jump in there and get another one. It's just not. Dragoncon's right around the corner. And then right after Dragoncon, they're bringing back Joe Lanta.
Yeah.
Literally the weekend after Dragoncon, and they just announced Sergeant Slaughter as a guest.
How can they do this to us?
It's horrible.
Ugh.
Why? Bad timing.
Bad timing. Have to stay an extra week in Atlanta.
But I think part of the reason
I'm not going to Minnesota now for MACNA, so how much vacation time do I have?
Well, I think a big part of it was, Joe Lanta used to be combined with Toy Lanta, Joe Lanta used to be combined with the Great Atlanta Toy Convention, and then it turned into Toy Lanta. And I think that Joe Lanta was kind of a haven for the larger scale, the 12-inch G.I. Joe collectors. And they've kind of been left by the wayside because Toy Lanta has turned into more of a general toy convention, and there's really no focus on 1/6 scale Joe, which is, it's where it all started. It deserves attention. Honestly, we need to be giving it more attention on the show, and we're going to be doing that, I promise. And I think that this relaunch of Joe Lanta is an attempt to look. We got to get those guys, the originals, back in. We got to give them something. But at the same time, we're still going to welcome our real American hero friends, because here's Sergeant Slaughter.
Well, who doesn't love Sergeant Slaughter?
They know what puts
you
two,
nudge,
you
nudge.
two don't love Sergeant Slaughter because you voted him out of G.I. Joe, you maniacs.
Hey, I was an impartial juror in that whole...
You were not. You voted against him. You're a maniac. Okay, so one last thing we got to talk about from the Schweck, good point. Buy 2 more and pay for Dragoncon 2024. Well, yes and no, because my gosh, the hotel rates are going way up. I saw today what the Hilton is going to be charging in 2023, and it's bonkers. Okay, one more. Well, you know what? We're not even going to talk about the HISS tank merch, because I want to talk about actual HISS tanks. So what we're going to do now is an Instruments of Destruction / America's Elite, where we're just going to talk about HISS tanks. So let me pull up our favorite resource, yojo.com. And we got to go back to the beginning. The original HISS was released in 1983. Now, do either one of you have an original HISS? Noel, of course you do. So this is weird for me. The HISS was never one of my favorite vehicles.
It actually was not one I owned in 83 or 84 when it was still on shelves. I got mine mail order in probably 85 or 86. And so I never had the driver when I was a kid. I don't remember if this is my childhood one or if this is one that I acquired later on. It's just the one that's in the best condition right now. But
now, do you have a driver now? And does it have a Cobra symbol on its chest?
I have a driver now, and because I live on planet Earth, the second answer is no. Because unless
how is that like the one thing out of all the Joe figures, there are no HISS tank drivers with that?
Well, it's just any silver Tampo from the time, so that you also have like, I think even more rare than that is going to be the Viper Glider pilot. If you have one of those with the silver Tampo, then you can retire.
Mine has like some of it still.
Yeah,
that's more rare than the HISS tank driver.
Well, I mean, the Viper Glider didn't get produced in the same numbers.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
HISS.
of course. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
So it's a much more rare figure.
Let me check in real quick. Yorktown Joe. Yorktown Joe is here, who is super helpful with, I mentioned before, if we missed something, let us know. Send us a message. Yorktown Joe has helped us out a couple of times on Instagram. Love the Audible Interlude podcast. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate it. Like, you guys are, well, we do it because we love this, but it means a lot that you guys are here with us. JJ Holderschelt, super excited. Can't wait to set up a display with the HISS and a few trouble bubbles when they drop. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, dude. That trouble bubble was, honestly, I can't say since the beginning of Classified, because I don't know that there was an expectation that we would ever get vehicles, which is part of my problem with 6-inch figures in general, because as we're all kids of the 80s, and to us, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Mask, like, vehicles were an intrinsic part of our play experience. And that's why I've never really been able to fully immerse myself into 6-inch or 1/12 scale or whatever, because those vehicles are so important to me. So when Classified started, I was like, well, this is cool. It's G.I. Joe, so I'm going to buy them. But, I really don't expect any vehicles ever. And the fact that, I mean, one, we're getting a HISS, but two, they've announced a trouble bubble that's going to be a retail release. Well, I don't know if it'll be fan channel. I don't know if we'll actually see it in Walmart or Target or whatever. But just thinking about a Classified series flight pod,
Yeah.
ooh, so exciting.
I mean, the moment that I saw that initial announcement, I was like, I'm buying at least 2 of those. Because I gotta army build the Televipers, but I also have to have 2 trouble bubbles because they're gonna look so good next. And eventually, I'm gonna have to get some photos with my Tomax and Zaymot in them.
Yes, absolutely. Tomax and Zaymot, very, very quietly across their personal comm situation, conspiring against Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
Yes. So that original HISS, 1983. Now, I had it when I was a kid. I dug it. And look, I'll go ahead and bring out, this is the retro one that came out 2 years ago. Was it 2020? Because 2021 was the blue one.
Yeah, because I want to say this came out shortly after I moved into my new house.
So when I was a kid, this very much like the Havoc. Oh, wow, that doesn't want to come out at all. So before the Havoc even existed, oh my gosh, this turret doesn't come out of this one. Holy cow. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. So when I was a kid, this turret came out and was a little like hover vehicle. Like a little attack vehicle.
It's like the Stap from Star Wars Episode 1.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Except this was 15 years before that. And this troops went in here inside the HISS, which was one of those things, like when we were kids, there were these things that we would, like, toys would have unintended play, little features that as a kid you figured out, like, oh, I can stick guns in these little ports in this Star Wars vehicle, or I can remove this turret and have it fly around and blast things. Like there were little features like that we took advantage of. And that's one of the things that makes the Classified HISS so fun, is it has that back compartment that, like, in our heads when we were playing with the original HISS, that's what was back there. So yeah, this is the I guess 2020 retro HISS release. That's a beautiful piece, and interestingly is using the tooling you can see on the bottom here. I mean, you can't see it now. This is the 2004 HISS tank. So it's the tooling of an older release. All right, let me pull my notes up here, because now we're going to get a little deep. In 1985, they released the SMS, the Sentry and Missile System, which was a Crimson HISS with the MMS recolored. which was a thing that happened a lot in the line.
Which I never had. I never had any of these exclusive toys as a kid.
I didn't either, and I very clearly remember them being at, what was it, Sears, JCPenney? Yeah, see, this was a Sears exclusive.
Yeah.
I remember these Sears and JCPenney exclusives, and I never had any of them. And I because look, we all know the wish books, the Sears and JCPenney wish books that would come out before the holidays, that you would sit down on the floor and you would circle everything that you wanted. And I remember all of these sets being offered, but for whatever reason, and look, my parents were my dad was in the military. He retired a lieutenant colonel. So G.I. Joe at the beginning was very much a like father-son, like, oh, I can explain a lot of these vehicles and things to you and what these military specialties are. And that sort of stuff. Like, we're way into it. But I guess they kind of drew the line at the Sears and JCPenney exclusives for whatever reason.
When I see
Yorktown,
this one pop up on eBay, out of all the various versions and colorations of the HISS that comes out, this is the one that usually tempts me the most.
It's beautiful. And
that shade of dark red is, I think, so fitting for the tank.
Yorktown Joe, I had an early HISS in 1983. The earlier ones had faint 788 red outlines. The second wave had brighter 788 stickers with white centers. Really? What have you got, Noel?
I've got the white center, and I do have.
Oh wow! I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I have another one in storage that does not have the white center, so I know there is the variation.
I was not aware. I had the all red. I don't remember there being a white center, or at least that's what my memory tells me. So this
may have been the mail away. I don't know. I can't remember. If that's the case, they may have done it different for the mail away, or I don't know if it was just in the regular assortments that they.
Well, right, and there could easily be more than two variations.
Yeah.
So yeah, any Crimson HISS, it really looks good. And what's weird to me is in later years when I was actively collecting Joe, there were a number of Crimson HISSes released, and I just didn't buy them. And I it's one of those things that I look back and I'm like, why? What? But for whatever reason, my post like 98 and on collection of Joe, I didn't really care for things that weren't in their original colors. I don't know why. It's weird, and I regret the heck out of it.
Yeah, actually, according to the Joe, mail-in versions had the white ones.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, clear on the first early store versions. Later store versions had red 788 stickers. Yeah, thank you, yojo.com.
So, oddly enough, we didn't get another HISS for 6 years, because the SMS came out in 1985, and then in 1991, and it's technically not even a HISS, the septic tank.
Well, we got the HISS 2 in 89.
Oh, is that not? Oh, but okay, so that is different tooling though.
Right. It's a different tool, but it is a variation on the HISS.
Yeah, and it's not included in the vehicle. So tell us about the HISS 2.
It's similar looking to the HISS. It looks like it's got a wider cockpit. I've never owned one. It looks like it holds maybe two drivers, like a driver and a passenger in the front. The turret is a lot more elaborate. It's got a lot more detailing on the sides. It's a neat looking vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, I love this thing.
It's one I'd love to have in my collection.
Yeah, this one is beautiful. And I always kind of forget about it. It has a ton more tooling on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got this wild bay in the back. Wow. Okay. So look at how the cockpit drops down. It's got a troop bay in the back. This is a fantastic vehicle. I don't love the cannons on top.
I've seen this at toy shows plenty of times, and I have always passed on it for some reason.
I really dig this thing.
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that they have that that entry, because the getting in and out of the HISS tank was always kind of a mystery, because you would have needed a ladder to get into it, which of course they've resolved
incorporated now, right?
Yeah, into the new one. But yeah, I mean, this way it's kind of like the Night Raven. You can get in, and it lifts you up.
This is very cool. I'm gonna have to add one of these to my collection. I like this thing. I like this more than the regular HISS. Sorry, purists. Alan Grant. Hey boys, what's up, Alan? Thanks for checking in.
Thanks for all your work on the dinosaurs.
Yeah. We really appreciate your work with Amber and fossils. So checking in, we are at 26,390 backers. So we may not make that 28 that I predicted earlier. We've only got 13 minutes left.
So close.
What is next up? We've got, okay, let's get to one that I actually own here. In 2000, the HISS 3, which I got to say, I think it's a little ambitious to call this a HISS 3 because it's basically a blue HISS with dirty treads, which Noel, I know you like these treads that look like they've been out in the yard rolling around in Fido's poop.
I love the dirty threads, and this is the Walmart re-release.
Oh, so that's the newer one.
Yeah, but what I love about this is that you have this area right here that is black. So there's a distinction, because that's one thing that's always bothered me about a regular HISS is that, yeah, you got the treads here, but then you just have this piece of black plastic, and this makes it look different. And I know we had discussed a while ago trading off.
Yeah, I've still got one in box. I will swap you some treads.
Yeah, because I have several. Because trust me, those Walmart HISS tanks went on clearance for quite a big discount after a while. So I've got a few extra ones.
Let me ask you this about your Walmart one. This one also has color up here.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mud has gone up onto the chassis. I don't know if you guys can really see that or not. Probably not.
Yeah, it's not really easy to see.
Does yours have that?
No, they did not do that detail.
Oh, see, that's great. That makes me, because I really like that brighter blue of the one that you've got. You can see this one is more of a darker navy blue. The newer one is a brighter blue, which I dig. So yeah, we got to do that. We got to do that tread swap at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Because I would love to just put a pair of these on a regular standard black HISS tank.
Yeah, I would love to put regular treads on that nice blue.
There you go. See, that's how it works.
Okay.
Symbiosis.
So we have another Crimson HISS in 2002, the Crimson Strike Team HISS, which is, I think this is the one that's from the set that I foolishly was like, that's too expensive. I'm not going to buy that. Let's see here. Oh, no, wait, this is something different entirely. This is a convention exclusive. So it honestly looks like a simpler version of the SMS. We will move on because that one's not that exciting. Next, we have the another Crimson one from Operation Crimson Sabotage, which was a KB Toys exclusive. And this one I do remember, and I'm kicking myself. This is one of the ones I really, really don't understand why I didn't buy it. It's a Crimson HISS. Got a really nice paint job on it, black treads, and then an asp on the back, a black and red asp. I feel like a lot of effort went into this set, and I really should have bought it. And it came with 3 Crimson Guard figures.
There's a lot of those sets that came out that had multiple troop builder figures that I am kicking myself for not buying.
I know.
In my darker years of G.I. Joe.
Well, with KB, so much of their stuff went on the shelves on clearance that anytime I walked into KB and I saw an exclusive, I'd be like, at some point it's going to be marked down.
Yeah.
And then they would disappear, and I would be like, oh.
And that's what would happen.
Foiled.
Well, as somebody who worked at KB Toys, let me tell you what happened. Those would come in, and the second they got marked down, an employee would buy all of them. So very rarely would you see exclusives like this actually make it to clearance. You'd see the other regular stuff get to clearance prices, but these exclusives, we were like vultures. They wouldn't
It's a
even.
good thing I know you now and not then.
That's true in more ways than you know. All right. Let's see. Yorktown Joe, love the weathering on the HISS 3. My brother gave each of my sons those for Christmas around the time you mentioned. There you go. And that's the thing is I do appreciate the additional deco on the treads because I know like there's something for everybody. I've got a clean HISS here that I'm very happy with, but other people want a little bit of weathering, want a little bit of extra deco, and that's cool too. I want G.I. Joe to be everything to everybody as much as it possibly can be. All right, let's jump ahead to another one that I actually have because we've only got 8 minutes left here. Check in one more time with Pulse. We are at 26,532. That's about 200 more backers since I checked a couple minutes ago. So in 2015, I almost didn't get this, but I just could not deny the appeal of a bright orange pearlescent HISS tank. And I'm so glad I got it. I love this thing. I love the cannons on this one. Look at the difference in the sculpt. Now, this was originally on I think the Arctic HISS might have been the first one to have this. It was either that or the 2008. No, it wasn't.
No, the Arctic HISS had the Stinger.
Oh, it has the
It has the
rockets.
Stinger
Yeah,
rockets.
it has you're right.
Oh,
You're
wow.
right. All right. So this tooling says 2004. So is this maybe from the Toys R Us exclusive? But whatever the case, you can see the cannons are different on this one. It's just a beautiful tank. And this is one of the ones that came with one of the sheets of numbers. So you could put whatever numbers you wanted on the front. I don't know why I picked 510. No clue. That's how tall my wife is. Maybe I don't know.
There you go.
I have no idea. But I love this one. And
it is. It came with the Silent Strike set for the 50th anniversary line in 2015.
Yeah, but I know that these cannons were used previous to this. And I'm not going to sit here because we are our time is short now.
I'm actually looking at this one here. Which
I see the cannons on the Chimera version as well, which came out right before it.
Well, that was that was that was the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Maybe that is where that came from.
This 2005 HISS, that was a Toys R Us exclusive. Are you seeing that one on your list?
It's on the list. It's one of the ones I kind of skipped past.
Well, it's a different mold than the rest of the HISSes, but I feel like it lends a little bit of design cues to the classified one. And it has that canopy that's a little different.
Whoa, here's one I totally skipped over. Okay, so you're looking at the 2005 HISS, the direct-to-consumer.
This is a Toys R Us one.
I totally missed the 2005 HISS from the regular line. If you scroll up just a little bit.
Is that the one that doesn't look anything like a HISS?
Well, I mean,
it's got the treads, but then it's got like the snake head thing that's towards the ground.
Bonkers.
Yeah.
With the driver is the Pit Viper. Man, that thing's wild. I didn't buy one of those either, and I can see why I didn't, because it's too much. But now I kind of want one. Because I was actively collecting.
I don't know that I've ever heard that from you.
What's that?
That's too much.
Well, yeah, right. I'm not the guy who says that's too much. But you know what's too much is trying to get this stupid movie HISS. So I love this design.
I think that this is what a HISS would look like in the real world.
Right. Right. I think that's accurate. It's got the cannons that swivel together. As much as I hate that the canopy is not translucent, that makes so much more sense than having a big open canopy in the front. Like, it looks like it's actually armored for the pilot. And you have the control. Well, that pops right out. You have the controls right here in the front. You have rubber treads that actually roll. Like, this is not necessary. This like attack mode that it does, that's just kind of annoying. I don't care for that. But I wish I had bought the black version of this. I have this like turd brown one that was the first release. I bought 2 of these because I liked the design so much. And then they put out the black one that looks so much better. And I was just like, well, I'm not going to spend more money to get a different color. I've already got 2 of this.
Well, I've got the Shockwave version of this one, but it's not left the package.
Okay. So this one also had where you could customize what you put on it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but because of the brown color, I designated this Iron Turd number 2 because of the brown color.
But this does lend its design. Of course, we have the Shockwave that came out with the crossover set for Comic-Con.
Do you mean this Shockwave?
Yes. So this needs to get made as a crossover toy.
Absolutely. And this, by the way, is my favorite toy vehicle that I own. It's glorious metallic purple. It's Shockwave, my favorite Transformer. And I found something out earlier today. You guys may not know this. If while dusting this vehicle, you drop it on the floor, it explodes into 5 different pieces and almost gives you a heart attack. But fortunately, those 5 pieces go right back together and everything is okay, which is why I'm still sitting here talking to you guys right now and not in the hospital.
By their powers combined, it's Captain Shockwave.
But this thing is just a beautiful vehicle and this is all new parts. It is not, it's designed after the Retaliation HISS tank.
Oh, so it is a different, okay.
It is completely different. These treads they're not the same treads as the other one. They're all molded plastic. It is completely different new parts. From, I don't know if you'll really be able to tell here, but you can see and this one does not have the unnecessary spring up feature either. So yeah, that's not helpful. I'll just put those away.
Yeah, it's just dying to be made into a Transformers crossover vehicle with like the Destro and the Bat that were in the original one too.
All right. We have down
our final
to
numbers.
The last minute.
Oh, it's 11:59 because it ends at
26,717 backers. So this is it, you guys. Last minute. I guess I'm not going to get a second one, and I shouldn't. I don't need to do it. I can't. I wish I did, but I can't.
Wow.
That's it. 12 a.m. Campaign is done. 26,751 backers.
We got some more at the end. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Boom.
Nice.
Wow.
I wonder if there may be a few more, because I think as long as you had it carded by the time that it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as you're in the.
And I don't know that this is factual, but it's rumored.
Oh yeah, where it's 27,762 now.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also rumored that they add in, like, if Big Bad Toy Store or other online retailers purchase them, that those get added in afterwards. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see tomorrow what that number is, or in a couple days or whatever. It'll also be interesting to see what the HISS tactician ends up looking like. Very excited about that. So we've talked about the HISS. We've talked about all kinds of stuff tonight. It's time to wrap this thing up. We did our live stream, and I gotta say, I think it was a success. Thank you.
Hey, wait. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say thank you to everybody who's hung out with us and watched this tonight. We will be doing more of this in the future, because this was fun. I had a great time here.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to everybody that joined us on the live. I want to give a shout out to all our Joe and Cobra fans out there, both those who backed this and those who didn't. Just thank you for being awesome fans.
Those who backed this and those who are a year from now going to be trying to find one and saying, has anybody got a HISS for not scalper prices? Yeah, I want to shout out to he has many different aliases, but Fred Braca on the HISS Tank forums, a wellspring of information, very enthusiastic G.I. Joe fan, shared a very funny meme on Instagram earlier today about folks who didn't want to back the HISS Tank. So I appreciated that. I'll appreciate, next year seeing those folks like, come on, bro, don't be a scalper. No such thing as scalping when it's crowdfunding. All right. Well, thank you to everybody. Thank you to you guys. Before we go, Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Finest?
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club, which I happen to be a member of. And we do great work raising money for a fantastic charity called Canines for Warriors. If you're at any one of the conventions where we happen to be there as guests, then check out the table, donate some money. All goes to a fantastic cause. And if you ever thought about costuming as a G.I. Joe character, we've got field manuals on our site. You can check that out. We have resources on Facebook. We've got a recruitment group where we will give you guidelines and we'll give you like pointers and tips. Great group of people. So yeah, check it out.
And speaking of costuming as a G.I. Joe character, Audible Interlude will be recording a live episode at Dragoncon Friday at 1 p.m. in the Dragoncon American Sci-Fi Classics track room. We will be there live, and we need all of the G.I. Joe cosplayers to show up, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be fantasy booking a live action G.I. Joe movie. So we need people in G.I. Joe costume. We're going to determine the tone of the movie, the villains of the movie, the story of the movie, everything. It's all going to be audience participation. So it's going to be a great time. We're going to have an awesome time doing that. And
panel participation, because we're also going to be wearing costumes. So we
That's
expect
correct.
you to.
Yeah, we're going to be in costume, so you have to be as well. And then Sunday at 7 p.m. at Dragoncon, the Classics track is going to be screening G.I. Joe the movie, and we will be there for a little pre-panel beforehand on that. So before we go, Kristian, tell us, where can we find? We talked about toy photography in this stream. Why don't you tell us about yours?
You can find me on Instagram and Flickr.com under Legion Cub.
Lots of blast effects and air cans.
Right.
All right. Well, you guys, thanks for sitting down talking about G.I. Joe. Everybody that watched, thank you for showing up. Look at that. Look at that beautiful silver Cobra symbol on that modern figure. As always, Yo Joe.
Cobra.